Hello, I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a Taskmaster class on the series 20 contestants. I've done this for a few series already and I really enjoy talking about the contestants like before they appear on Taskmaster, before we see them on Taskmaster. I wasn't expecting series 20 to air so soon. It's currently due to air on the 11th of September, which is very, very close. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it. Normally there's a bit more of a wait. I don't know whether it's just felt like it's been really quick from series 19, I don't know, but I feel like it's been hardly any time since the contestants were announced. So apologies that this is coming out quite soon to when the episode will air, but I hope that this is helpful anyway. And as I said, I still wanted to do it because I like talking about them and I like researching them a bit beforehand as well. So if you didn't know, the series 20 contestants are Anya Magliano, Maisie Adam, Phil Ellis, Reese Shearsmith and Sanjeev Bhaskar, and I'm actually really looking forward to this lineup. I've seen some people say that they don't know anybody. I've seen some people say they're looking forward to everybody here, and so I was aware of 4 out of 5 of the contestants, which is pretty good for me. I think sometimes I tend to go around 3, I know, most of the time, but this time it was 4 out of 5. So I'll talk about each contestant individually. I'll go through them in alphabetical order just because that's how it's done, like in the show, the way they are sat. I'll talk about things that you might have known them from and also just kind of give you a bit of an idea of what they've kind of done in the past. So starting off with Anya Magliano, and she is a stand-up comedian and writer. She, I would say, judging by like her portfolio, what she's kind of done before, she definitely seems to be geared more towards stand-up, but is making her way into television as well. In terms of stand-up, she has had like quite a few successful shows. So first one is called Absolutely No Worries If Not. She's also done I Can't Believe You've Done This, and Forgive Me Father. So I love those names of shows anyway. I unfortunately haven't seen her live. She did actually come to the city that I live in, but the date that she was here, I couldn't go to, which was really annoying because she is somebody that I've seen about. Everything that I saw of her was quite funny, so I really want to see her stand up. As I mentioned, all of these have received really good reviews, and she actually bagged the Best New Show award at the Leicester Comedy Festival, and she has been nominated for Best Show at Edinburgh Fringe. If perhaps you don't really watch too much stand-up and tend to mainly gear towards television like I do, then you might have seen her on Live at the Apollo, and she also appeared on a series of Richard Osman's House of Games, which is a personal favourite of mine. I love that show. I always find that House of Games is a really good tester for me of if I like them on Taskmaster, because I feel like it's a really good way of kind of getting comedians like out of their shell a bit. Like they're kind of like tricky questions and it relies on them being like entertaining as well with their answers and like balancing doing well and being funny. So I think it's a good test for them, and I really enjoyed her appearance on House of Games. I thought out of all the contestants in her like lineup that she was on, she was definitely stand out for me. I thought she was really entertaining. This is definitely where I probably know her from the most, although I have seen some of her like clips go on YouTube, because as I said, she does quite a lot of stand up, and obviously it's become a really important thing now for stand up comedians to like record bits of their shows. It was always been done, but like record bits of their shows and put them on YouTube, and I feel like I've definitely seen her pop up on like YouTube Shorts a lot, and everything I've seen of hers has been really, really good. If you're a fan of the Off Menu podcast, then you've probably seen her on there as well, or heard her on there before, because she has appeared on one of the episodes. She has also announced a new tour that she's doing with a show called Peach Fuzz, and the pre-sale actually opens on the day that Taskmaster airs. So if you watch the first episode and are a really big fan of hers already from the go, then you can definitely go and get her tickets as well if you want to go see her. So I think that's a really good tactic of putting up your tour shows as soon as Taskmaster airs. Very, very smart. As I mentioned, she's also a writer, and this is something that I didn't actually know and I was really impressed by when I found it out. So as well as writing for like some radio comedy shows and TV shows like Frankie Boyle's New World Order, she also writes content for Chicken Shop Date, which I thought was really, really impressive. That's such a like big show. It's so hilarious as well. And Amelia also did appear on Taskmaster as one of the New Year Treat contestants. So I just think that's really cool. I had no idea, and I think that's a really like impressive thing to have done because of just how popular Chicken Shop Date has become. So yeah, that's really impressive. Next up is Maisie Adam, and she is a comedian, and I think I'd be quite surprised if you're from the UK and haven't heard of her. She's somebody that I think has really skyrocketed in popularity over like the last 4 or 5 years. She's somebody that has gone from appearing on a show here or there to almost becoming like a household name. And yeah, as I said, she's been in a lot of TV. I imagine if you watch any sort of comedy television in the UK, especially like panel shows, then you probably have seen her. She's appeared on a number of them. For example, 8 out of 10 Cats, Mock the Week, House of Games, very good on House of Games. And she was also on the Big Fat Quiz of the Year for 2022 and 2024. She's been on Would I Lie to You as well, and Mock the Week, and a few others as well, I think. So yeah, if you watch any of those, you probably have seen her. I also really enjoyed her appearance on Outsiders, which was a TV show that has unfortunately now been cancelled. It had 3 seasons, but it was on Dave, and it was very similar to Taskmaster, but it was more like David Mitchell hosted it, and contestants worked in pairs and they had to earn like scout badges. I was a really big fan of Outsiders. I really enjoyed every season. I think the concept is really good, and obviously it had that familiarity with being Taskmaster adjacent, and it also had a lot of Taskmaster alumni in the show as well. Maisie appeared on series 2 of the show alongside other Taskmaster alumni like Fatih El-Ghorri, who we just saw on series 19, Phil Wang and Joe Wilkinson. And she was paired up with Darren Harriet, and I thought they got on really well together. They were a really good team, and I thought that she really stood out as well. She definitely brought her style of comedy to the show as well, while also being like meshing with everybody else really well, which is something that I really like to see, especially with Taskmaster. I find the strongest seasons are where everybody shines individually, but also really work well both as the teams and as the whole like lineup of contestants. So when she was in this, and I thought, like I said, she stood out. I really got her sense of character, but she also worked well as a whole with everybody else. That was a really good sign to me, and I thought it'd be really good. And yeah, I was really excited when she was announced. So if you haven't seen her from all of this, then you could have seen her during the Women's Euros, because she is such a big fan of football. She did a lot of like work with like promoting and just talking about in general the Women's Euros and the Lionesses, and about football and getting women and girls into football. And she has done Soccer Aid a couple of times as well, I think 3 times. And I saw an article where she said that she got married and then went and did Soccer Aid, which is really, really cool. It's nice to see somebody so dedicated to something. And she hosts a podcast called Big Kick Energy, which is a great name. She hosts this with Susie Ruffle, who I also think would be really good on Taskmaster as well. Yeah, I just think she's just naturally funny. And I think she's one of those people that just kind of gets on with everybody. Like, that's just the impression I get of her. I feel like she could have a like really engaging conversation with anybody. And yeah, she's actually going to appear on Last One Laughing as well, series 2 of the Amazon Prime show. So I think she's going to be fantastic on there as well. Next up is Phil Ellis, and he is a stand-up comedian, and he's the one contestant that I didn't know when it was announced. I've looked at his Instagram and looked at things like that, and I think he's quite entertaining. He released a video when it first aired talking about how he's like the least known Taskmaster contestant ever, and I thought it was really silly. Like, the video he did was very silly, very funny, and I think as soon as I watched that, I was like, he's a good pick for Taskmaster. This is exactly my type of humour. So he has appeared on a few TV shows, for example, Drunk History and the Russell Howard Hour. And he also has quite a popular radio show called Phil Ellis is Trying, and it's about a man who's trying and failing to make his life successful. And it also features Taskmaster alumni Johnny Vegas and Lolly Adefope. So if you are a fan of radio, you might have heard him on there. And if you're a fan of stand-up and you like going to the Edinburgh Fringe, then I'd be very surprised if you haven't heard of him, because apparently he's gone to every Edinburgh Fringe for the past 12 years, which is really impressive. And all of his shows always seem to receive like a really positive review. And I saw one review that called him the conductor of chaos, which I think is a perfect description for a Taskmaster contestant. That is exactly the type of character I want to have on the show. I think he's going to be really good, judging by some of the reviews I've seen. He seems very silly and very chaotic, which is exactly my type of comedian. So he does a variety of stand-up shows, some more geared to adults, and also he does some shows for children as well, which I quite like. And I always find that children's performers and things like that tend to be there's just that extra level of silliness and almost clownery involved as well. Not that I haven't seen any of his shows for children, but that's always the impression I get, and I like that kind of humour as well. And he has been nominated and won some awards. So he won the award for comic originality, which is a really impressive award, I think, especially to be original in such a long-standing field. I think that's really impressive. And he was also nominated for the Edinburgh Comedy Award. So yeah, if you're a fan of stand-up and go to a lot of stand-up shows and go to Edinburgh Fringe quite regularly, then you probably have heard of him. So I am a fan of stand-up. He's not one that I've heard of. I've only really got into going watching it like in person rather than watching clips on YouTube in the past like year or two, because I live in a city now, so I'm actually able to go to shows when they come here, whereas before there wasn't really that much available to me, so I'm still kind of getting into it. And if he comes to where I live, then I'm definitely going to check him out, especially if I enjoy him on Taskmaster. But from what I've seen, I think he's going to be really strong, and I think, yeah, he seems like a really, really good choice for a Taskmaster contestant. Next up is Reece Shearsmith, and he is a comedian, actor and writer. He has been in a lot of TV shows and films, and he's written a lot as well. He's most well known for a few things actually, and all of them he worked on with Steve Pemberton, who appeared on series 17 of Taskmaster. They're like comedy writing partners, so they have done a lot of work together. So these shows are League of Gentlemen, Psychoville and Inside Number 9. Reece actually met Steve Pemberton at university, and with Mark Gatiss as well. He did a lot with Sherlock, which I'm a big fan of Sherlock as well. They actually created League of Gentlemen, which was initially a stage show before becoming a TV show. I am personally a really big fan of Inside Number 9. I think it's a brilliant show. If you don't know, it's like an anthology series where each episode is like completely separate from everyone else, but like Reece and Steve Pemberton I think they play in every episode apart from like a couple, and they're always like, it's like dark comedy, it's twisted, they might have like plot twists and something, yeah, like some kind of like dark black comedy. I really enjoy it. I think it's really fun. It's really original and inventive, and like you say, you don't know what you're going to get in each episode, which is really exciting and really fun. They have turned Inside Number 9 into a stage show, which is really exciting. So it has been in London on Broadway. I think it was just the beginning of the year until like springtime, because it did so well there, they are turning it into a touring production, so it's going to tour around the UK in autumn of this year, which is really, really exciting. I really want to get to see it. And both Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton are going to be in the tour, I believe. They were in the London version, so I think they're going to be in the tour as well. This isn't the first time that Reece Shearsmith has been in the theatre. He's done a lot of theatre work before. I think this might be where he started originally, like I said, with League of Gentlemen. That was originally a stage show. He's done quite a few big theatre shows as well, so As You Like It and The Producers are ones that I think are probably some of the biggest ones he's done, but he's got such a long like credit list for how many theatre shows he's done. As well as theatre and TV, he has done a lot of film as well. So he's written for a lot of things, but where you might have seen him before is he was in the film See How They Run, which I think is a really underrated film. I really enjoyed it. It's got Saoirse Ronan in it. It's really funny. It's like exactly my sort of like humour. I love it. I thought it was really good. He has also appeared in Saltburn, which admittedly I haven't seen yet. I don't know whether I will watch it, but he was in Saltburn, which is obviously very popular. And even if you haven't seen him, you might have heard him before, because if you're a fan of Wallace and Gromit, you might not know, but he voiced the gnome, the robot gnome Norbot, in the most recent edition of Wallace and Gromit, which is Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Foul, which aired at Christmas, which I think was like one of the biggest shows aired at Christmas last year. So you probably watched that if you're from the UK, and yeah, he voiced the little gnome. Some things that I found out that might come into play in his like appearance of Taskmaster is one, that he's actually a magician. So I saw an article about him talking about like performing at children's parties and how that's like the most terrifying thing that he's done, which I think is really funny. And he's also like into art. I don't know how, I haven't seen any of his art, but apparently he's quite good, considering he almost chose to do it at uni before swapping to do drama instead. So yeah, we might see him do quite well at the arty tasks. But yeah, I think he's going to be a really good contestant. I know I'm saying that about everybody, but I really enjoyed Steve Pemberton on the show. And while they are distinct from each other, they obviously have that underlying like similar comedic style, similar humour. So I like how we're going to see a bit more of that. But obviously quite different, because they are, as I said, individual from each other and quite different as well. And last but certainly not least is Sanjeev Bhaskar, and he is an actor and comedian. And he, again, is the one that I mentioned that I actually knew, but only know him really as an actor. He was quite a surprise when he was announced, but as soon as I kind of looked at other stuff he'd done, I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense as why he'd be really good on the show. So the thing I know him from most is a detective show called Unforgotten, and he plays a detective called Sunny, and they solve like cold cases, which are like cases that have been left unsolved for a while. So it's a really good show. I really enjoy it. So yeah, that's where I mostly know him from. Like, that's where my mind goes when I think of him. But he has been on television for a while and has done a number of comedy shows. So he is very, very well known in the UK. He's known for a number of things, particularly the sitcom The Kumars at Number 42. He's also known for Goodness Gracious Me, which is a BBC sketch comedy show. There's a TV version and a radio version. Sketch comedy, I always find whenever we get somebody who's done like sketch comedy before, I always know that I'm going to like them, because I think that type of humour really translates well to Taskmaster. He's also known for The Indian Doctor, which is a comedy drama about an Indian doctor in like the 1960s, I believe, who relocates and finds himself working at like a GP practice in the middle of nowhere in South Wales, like in a small little village in South Wales. So yeah, I've seen that on TV before. I've watched a few episodes. He's also in a sitcom called Porters, which has since ended. I only got a couple seasons, but that's a sitcom that takes place in a hospital. He has been on some panel shows before. For example, he was on an episode of Would I Lie to You? And he has been recently on the series, I think on Netflix, called Sandman, or The Sandman. I haven't seen this yet, but I think he is like a recurring role in that as well. So yeah, he has done a lot of comedy work, and yeah, I think a lot of people in the UK would probably either know him or at least recognise him. And in 2003, he was actually listed as one of the 50th funniest acts in Britain, which is, again, really, really impressive. As well as comedy work, he has done like documentaries and he has written a book as well. One of these documentaries that also became a book later on was talking about his journey to go see his family's ancestral home. And this was in commemoration of India and Pakistan's independence from the UK. I think it was the 60th year anniversary of their independence. He is such, I think, a staple and a figurehead almost of British comedy and television. He was given an OBE in 2005 and is currently the Chancellor of the University of Sussex, which I don't think we've had a contestant that's had those qualifications before, unless a New Year's treat contestant. I wouldn't be surprised if someone there, but to have somebody that's like this, I think, significant in comedy and in television, and in his work in like documentaries and things like that, and particularly for championing Asian British comedy as well. I think it's really impressive that we've got somebody like this important on the show, and I can't wait to see him. Like I said, I've only really seen him like acting, and so I'm really intrigued to see what he'll be like on Taskmaster. I think this is really exciting. So yeah, those are all the contestants for Series 20. I'm really excited. I think individually, I'm really excited for everybody, but I'm also intrigued to see like what the team pairings will be, and also how they'll all work together and how they'll bring out the comedy of each other, because that's just what I love to see. Just a little disclaimer though, this obviously isn't everything that they've ever done. I've kind of picked things that I think either I've known them from or things that I think are quite important. So yeah, if there is anything small that I have missed, like, don't have a go at me, but please do let me know if I have missed anything, because yeah, I'd love to get to know them a bit more. And yeah, I'm still kind of going through, there's obviously things that I've mentioned here that I haven't seen, and that I would like to kind of give a little go, because yeah, I always like being introduced to new contestants. So if you are watching this video and thinking, oh, I don't know anybody, like, don't let that put you off the show, because there's been series where the contestant that is the one that I don't know ends up being my favourite. So it's always great to be introduced to new comedians. So I do want to talk a little bit about Series 20 as a whole, because I am really excited to. We've got a few interesting bits of promo too. As I mentioned, it airs on the 11th of September at the normal time of 9 o'clock, but something they're doing differently this time is the international premiere on YouTube. It's actually going to be only an hour after it airs, so at 10 o'clock UK time. I don't know what that'd be for everybody else, but like as soon as Taskmaster airs in the UK, it's going on YouTube, which is so impressive that they managed to do that. I remember when people were fighting for it to get onto YouTube and everybody not in the UK was watching it in a not entirely legal way. So it's really cool, and I'm really glad that people get to watch it at pretty much the same time, because I believe last season and the season before that it was a day after, so it meant that people had to be really quiet about spoilers. So obviously I think we will probably still be respectful of people who can't watch it immediately, but it's so exciting that we actually all get to talk about it at the same time. So that is really, really cool. And something that I am quite excited to see whether it will change the dynamic is, I think for the first time, Alex is actually featured in Greg's portrait. It's the American Gothic thing that we see kind of in the promo. If you look at the Series 20 contestant lineup, Greg and Alex are the portrait in that American Gothic theme. It's not just Greg. So yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is the first time that that's happened. The lineup of the contestant lineup announcement actually reveals quite a bit about the location task. So I always find the location task quite exciting because you never know where it's going to be. But this one, it looks like to be like an empty shopping centre or like a mall if you're in America. It looks like that, and you kind of get a bit more of a glimpse in the series trailer. So yeah, that I think is a really good idea. I don't know whether they'll be able to utilise any of like the shops or anything, or if they can have a go where it's like a task using like a till from one of the shops or something. I don't know, but that could be really cool. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that will play into it. Personally, I don't think it's going to top at least the look of the Series 19 location. I loved that one. It's definitely, I think, my favourite location. I think the facade of the house and the caves, like, there was just so many elements to it. I really liked that one. So yeah, but obviously it's not just about the look, it's about what they can do with that space as well. And I think this is a really interesting location. It's definitely similar vibes to the airport that they managed to get in Series 11, I think. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that as well. But yeah, like always, I think this is going to be a really good series. I'm really excited for it. I think there's so many different elements that I'm looking forward to. The contestants, obviously one of the big ones, but in the series trailer that we got, which I watched on Channel 4, I'm not sure if it's on YouTube. I could only really see the lineup on YouTube. If you go onto Channel 4, if you're in the UK, you can go on to like the Series 20 page, and there's a series trailer there as well. And it gives you a bit of a glimpse of what some of the tasks look like, and there's some really funny and interesting looking ones on there, so I'm very excited and intrigued to see what they'll be. And as I mentioned, I'm excited for all the contestants. I'm excited to see them individually as teammates and also like as a group all together. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And excitingly, whoever wins this series is going to be the final contestant in Champion of the Champions, which I always love. We'll probably get Champion of the Champions after this, I'd imagine. Although they are filming this, I think next week is the filming of Series 21, which I tried to get tickets to. I loved the idea of having it to buy a ticket, like for guaranteed entry, and £15 was such a good price. But unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough. I was at work in a meeting when they went live and I missed it. They sold out so quickly and I was absolutely gutted, because that was the thing that always not put me off, but made me a bit hesitant to try a bit harder to get tickets to the show, because it was quite far away from me. I'd have to probably like book a hotel, and to do all that and spend all that money to not watch the show if you're just unlucky and don't get in. It was also like a bit of an inconvenient location, whereas the new location is a lot more easy for me to get to. So yeah, I was really excited. I've tried a few times to get tickets in the past, but I've never been successful, and I thought, this is my chance. I can buy a ticket and I'll get guaranteed entry. But alas, I did not get it. Let me know if you guys did, whether this process was easier than if you've been through the process of trying to get tickets, like the free tickets that they did in the past. I have put myself on a wait list to see if a ticket will come up, but I'm not holding out hope for it, unfortunately. So yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about today. I am planning to do a video of every episode again in Series 20. I did struggle to keep up with it last time, which happens every time, so I'll try my best again. But yeah, we'll see. I might decide not to, we'll see. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, then please leave a like and comment down below who you're most looking forward to. And also, if there's anything that I missed, please let me know. I'm really intrigued to find out more about these contestants. And yeah, subscribe if you want to see more videos through Taskmaster. I'll have some more videos out for you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!